we'll bring the cart in and empty what's in the tank. I did notice we were about 57% done when we got to the end of the second headland. So it's not... I missed a bit. It's not going to be very many loads of oats that we're pulling out of this field. Still, I'm trying to think what else is going on. As I said, yeah, not a lot's happening. We had thunderstorms on Saturday night, thunderstorms on Sunday night, so the ground's all nice and wet. Mrs. Osa cut the grass, I think on Thursday, might have been Friday. Which is all good. Our potatoes are just coming on leaps and bounds. There are a lot. There's a lot of leaf coverage where we planted the potatoes, so don't know what the yield's going to be like, but the plants are definitely looking encouraging. And there we go. Mulching is done. I think I'll leave the mulching roller on the Massey Ferguson. In fact, that's probably going to be quite a good deal. If I do that, I can send the New Holland or the class around with the what's it? With the lime spreader and get the lime organised on those fields, and this one. I'm not going to even try it. Okay, and we should now easily make that turn. Alright. I suppose a thing I could do here, here's a thought. I could pull that hedgerow out and plough down that central strip there and combine these two fields into one. Maybe cut... Let's go have a look. I will have to get out and walk. So I would then cut a couple of these hedges out here to allow us an easier turn in when we're coming from the yard. Potentially I could blow through to field 100 too. It's a thought. That would make one big field. course, this vehicle, very easy to get into the field. Although climbing out of it might be a problem, because I'm going to be in the hedge. Not to worry. Okay. So pH in this field is now, it kind of needs it. I could probably get away with it for another year, but really that's not going to be a good thing. Now, I want to have a look at this field's general direction. We're in here. Longest edge, I don't know, maybe we, yeah, that's the longest. Alright, let's get this thing rolling. And again, as I've said, having GPS at this stage would be kind of handy. I think I want to cut probably straight there. Angle of attack is 18. Let's go 20. Ish. Alright, that's about 20. 20 plus 180 is 200 on the reciprocal. And I think we'll probably get this field done completely now. And yeah, I'm going to try and emulate doing lands as best as I can. But as I said, I don't really need a worker for this. I mean, we could use one. Let's just grab that bit there. It's just like it did with the last one, is it took us time to get to a point where, okay, I can have the harvester on a course, the baler on a course, and I'm either driving the grain cart to and from the delivery point or the straw cart to and from the delivery point, because that's what's taking the most time. But really right now, I can't get the harvester far enough ahead to warrant doing a course with it. So I get to do all of this through the evening, and you know, it's winter. It's summer, so we're going to have sunlight for quite a long time tonight. July 1, we're probably looking about 9-10 o'clock before it gets too dark, which means potentially I'll have all of this work done. Theoretically, the only question would be, are the sell points open? And since I own the grain mill, I can obviously pay the work. The workers seem to work all night, so it's not like there's not going to be anyone there to take in a delivery, because it's processing by hour. They don't stop during night time for any reason, which I don't know, is that really a thing? I don't know, from people I've worked with who've worked in factories, if a factory can get away with it, they'll have a day shift only, because a night shift means you have to pay more people, but you have to pay them unsocial hours, and that can get more expensive. If you can cover everything you need during a daylight shift, there's no point in having a night shift, even in retail. I've worked a night shift because we were in central London and it was just easier to get the stock deliveries during the hours of darkness. So we'd have one person in for the entire night, and then we would have some of the sales staff would come in at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning in order to price up and restock the shelves, because once we opened, it was almost impossible to get the shelves restocked. You know, it could take you 20 minutes to walk to the back of the store, fighting your way through all the customers, pick up an armful of stuff to put on a shelf, and then fight your way through all the customers to get back to the shelf to put stuff on it. And the few times I tried that, by the time I got back to the shelf, I only had 1 or 2 products of the 12 I picked up from the storeroom left in my arms, because people would just look, oh, you've got Monopoly, I'll take one of those, and I'll take one, oh, he's took one, I'll take one, and you get to the shelf with 2 boxes of Monopoly. It's like, okay, well, I could make another run, but there's other things that also need stocking. So, but yeah, even one of the guys, he was one of my colleagues. He left to go work somewhere else, and he worked in an umbrella factory, and he said he didn't get personal vacation time like we, you know, the company we worked at, you know, you can pick when you do vacation any time you want. You want a week off, you know, give us some notice and you can have a week off. His new place, he didn't have much he had a lot less personal vacation, and he said basically what happens is the Monday before Christmas, whenever that works out, the factory closes, and it stays closed until the Monday after New Year. So everybody is on vacation, and the factory's closed. And the owners of the factory justified this by saying, well, if the factory's closed, we don't have electrical, we don't have, we're not running any of the machinery, and we still have to pay people, because you pay people for vacation, but they didn't have the running overhead. From what I'm understanding, is a couple of the what do we call them? A couple of the YouTubers who play City Skylines and City Skylines 2. They had a meeting with Colossal Order and Paradox. One of the things they asked is why isn't there going to be any patches for City Skylines 2 for the entirety of July and August? And it turns out that in the Scandinavian countries that these companies are based in, there is a mandated anybody can take 2 weeks off of work, and you can't tell them no. So, you're skeleton staff. And with computing, the last thing you want is to be putting something into production when you don't have everybody there. Because if something fails and your expert on that aspect of the software you're installing is not in town, then it's broken until they get back from their vacation, which could be 2 weeks away in these countries. So as a general rule, I think Finnish and Swedish software companies will not put out patches during July and August. I mean, the place I work, I'm a computer programmer. So what we have is generally a standing rule. If you're on vacation, you don't put anything into production the night before. And a lot of my stuff has to go in at night time. I can't put it in during the day. So if I'm not here tomorrow, it's not going in tonight. Unless I can be assured that I can log in, you know, after it goes in. Typically I'll put stuff in at 10 o'clock at night, but basically if I can log in at 10 o'clock in the evening just to make sure it's running, then there's less of an issue. But if something ends up broken, they're going to want to call me to fix it because I know what I did. And so it's just good practice to never put anything into production if you're not going to be there. Now with something like a computer game, if you're not the only programmer working on it, which I think something like Railroader only has one, you know, it's one guy, or Manor Lords is definitely only one guy. You know when you're not going to be there, but you're also not working to a schedule of I have to get something out whenever. But if you're part of a big programming group, then something like City Skylines, if, for argument's sake, if they have 20 programmers, then in all likelihood when a patch goes in or a DLC drops, it is all 20 of them worked on some aspect of it. Excuse me a second. Spams. You can be spam dude. Submit report and close. And I think he gets automatically banned as well, so that's good. Okay, now we can continue. I can close that. So anyway, yeah, that's all a thing. Now the thing with my job, obviously it's Memorial Day weekend, but our office is closed today, so I can put programs into production on Friday, and I actually did put something in on Friday, and I don't have to worry about nobody being there on Monday. I'm going to be there on Monday. No, I'm going to be there on Tuesday. I'm not going to be there on Monday. Nobody's going to be there on Monday. Not even people that can break it are going to be there on Monday. That way? Yes. But next week, I have to be in the hospital on Tuesday, and I have to prep on Monday. So I'm not going to be in the office on Monday, so I can't put anything into production this week on Friday, because I'm just not going to be available for 2 days following anything I would put in on Friday. So if I was going to put something in, last minute Thursday, preferably Wednesday, would be what I'd be doing. I think we're going to follow this down like that. Pick that up. Oh, and that makes a horrible pickup for the baler. But it is what it is. Okay. Okay, and as I suggested, we are really nearly done with this. Looks like we do have a very nice patch of dirt in that corner there. But I could knock out those trees and the shrubs and just expand this into these three consecutive fields into one huge field. And then laughingly, the next thing I could do is then make a huge entranceway to it and get myself a big 40-foot header for this harvester. And then while the field is bigger, it would take me much less time to cut it all. Anyway, looks like this island isn't as good as I hoped it would be, or accurate as I hoped it would be. It looks like I'm going to have to make 2 cuts on the right of where we are, and oops, don't know what on this side. But yeah, I did watch City Planner Play's review of his meeting with Colossal Order and Paradox. It seems he did make some good points. One of the complaints with City Skylines 2 is it's almost like there's unlimited money. You do a thing, money magics. You complete a milestone, money hits your bank account. And he said, you know, there's almost too much money to fail. It's like, I don't know. I think back in Farm Sim 17, that was the first time I went bankrupt, and that was actually one of the achievements. And basically what I did was I started off, you've got 100,000 money in the farm, you've got some equipment, but you don't have all the equipment you need. And I think I got to the point where I could use a baler and I could use a bale cart and stuff like that. So I borrowed money to buy the stuff that I didn't have, and of course then the loan payments came due, and you know, base game, you don't pay off the loan, you just pay the interest, and you've still got to find the money to pay off the loan. And the loan payments were more than I was making in crop sales, and it was just, you know, you don't buy what you don't need. And yes, it's nice to have a big giant harvester, but if you don't have the income, you can't pay for it. If you can pay for it in cash, that's even better, because then you don't have loan payments. And so yeah, that's kind of coloured how I play. I always try and play with as few loans as possible. And Arthur Chapman, I'll bring him up because he does it all the time. He'll start a new farm with the money he needs, and he buys the farm and he buys the land, and then he's like, okay, I need a tractor, and I need a grain cart, and I need a seeder, and I need a this, and I better take out the maximum loan I can so I can buy all of the little bits of equipment that I need. And it's like, dude, you have 3 fields that need to be harvested. buy yourself a harvester, buy yourself a grain cart. Do that, and then, okay, what's the next thing you need? Okay, you need to lime the fields. Okay, go and buy a limer. But no, he'll buy a mulcher, a limer, a roller, a seeder, and you know, you're buying all of the equipment that your farm is eventually going to need, some of which isn't going to give you the greatest bonus in income. So, you know, one of the examples I usually give is I'm not going to go out and buy a mulcher and a roller, because between them they give you about 2.5% bonus yield each, so 5% total. If I buy myself a fertilizer spreader, then I get 25% yield bonus from the fertilizer spreader. It just makes more sense for me to buy that, because it's one piece of equipment that can potentially, I can't remember whether it's a total after 2 applications of fertilizer, whether it'll give me 40% yield bonus or 50% yield bonus, but either way, that's a lot of bonus that I get from buying just one piece of equipment, so it just makes sense to. And the same with with seeders. I do not need a 12-meter seeder. I can do it with 3. It's going to take me longer with a 3-meter seeder, but at the moment I can't afford a 12-meter seeder, so I'll buy myself a small one. And I'll buy myself a small mower, and I'll buy myself a small, a cheap baler. And it's just, I'll buy what the farm can afford now, and I'm not going to take out a loan, but I'm definitely not going to buy equipment that I don't need right this minute. So, you